ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Talking with 3D. I am your host, Derek Darrell Dixon. This is Real Talk for Real People. I am so excited, ladies and gentlemen, to have Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire in the house today. Thank you so much for being my special guest. I see we done coordinated. We've flown together tonight and everything. So thank you so much for being my guest on Talking with 3D. Dr. Brookshire, how are you doing?
Oh, I am well. Thank you so much. I'm so glad we finally made this happen.
Yes.
A whole lot of life, your side, my side. We're here. Hallelujah.
We had to make it happen. I was not going to give up. I was like, well, no, we're going to make this happen today. So I am so glad. You are in Chicago. I'm in Baltimore, but we made it happen. So I thank you. Is it snowing in Chicago yet? What's the weather like in Chicago?
I'm not in Chicago. When we last spoke, I was in Chicago. I'm back home. I'm from Chicago, but I am back home in the Poconos currently. And yes, it is snowing.
I know that's right. So are you a skier?
But of course.
I know that's right.
Skis, snowboard, ice skate, snow tube, yes.
Do it all. See, I grew up in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, yes.
So in Denver, Colorado, yes, you have to know how to snow. We Keystone and Vail and all that. Yes. I grew up with the skis.
I used to be on a hockey team.
What? Now, come on now.
Little known fact. And we, down the street from where I grew up in Chicago in the park, you know, parks are abundant in Chicago. And they used to ice and put up a ski rink and had a house where you could go in and take off your shoes and get warm and at the field house. And so we used to just go out there and skate. And when we came home, we would throw snow between the house and the garage and make it real slick so that we could slide and pretend like we were skating. And I'll never forget the day my mother came home with this mini ice skate box and said, pick your sides. And we ran to the park and it was on. Blue box from Sears. I'll never forget it.
Wow. See, and then this is the thing about what I love about us as as Black people, as people, that nothing stops us and we're not afraid to try anything. You know, when people always say, oh, you ski? Black people ski? Yes. You know, there's so many things that we do and that we are great at. It's just the fact that, a lot of people have, those little, sayings that, we don't do certain things. Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
And I'm very proud. You think that you was on the hockey team? Come on.
Hockey team. Yes, I was. And we were awesome.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you a little bit about Dr. Brookshire. And let me tell you something. If you don't know Dr. Brookshire, you've been hiding in the closet. Because the name Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire has been around. Y'all just need to Google Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, and you will learn all types of things that I'm like blown away. I feel like I have royalty that I'm interviewing today. I truly do. I'm about to tear up because of the fact that I think it's so amazing to hear someone's story. And then you are honored enough to be able to share that space with them. And I just think it's amazing that we are sharing this space right now. So I truly just want to say thank you so much. Because I just think you are amazing. And I just want to let my listeners know, Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire is a best-selling author, novels of soul food, web of deception. She is also what she says, God's girl, wife, mother, doctor of naturopathic medicine, master herbalist, radio host, TV host, speaker. She has a YouTube channel, Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire. She's also written books that, again, best-selling books, Kitchen Warriors One-on-One, Ask the Doctor, the Detox Edition, Faith Under Fire, Soul Food, Web of Deception, all found on Amazon, #1 bestsellers. Come on. She also, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is who I have talking to right now, was a publicist of Biggie Smalls. She's worked in the music industry. So I just to go on and on and on. The first the first Black woman to novelize a major motion picture from the novel Soul Food. So when I mentioned Soul Food, I don't think it was about food. It was the movie Soul Food. So I'm telling you, amazing work that you're so inspiration. Inspiring. I'm so inspired by you.
Well, thank you so much.
I just feel like, you know what, I do writing and directing and producing and dabbing in movies and things, but I'm like, you know what, to again, share space with someone that doesn't stop and just going is what we need to be able to hear those stories and share those stories.
Yeah.
So what else can you tell us about Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire? What else can you tell us?
Well, I'm God's girl.
Yes.
I'll see that more than anything else. I'm a full-time wife and mother and a part-time everything else.
Part-time everything else.
Part-time everything else, 100%. And I am blessed to still be in this game called life. I have a sermon that, you didn't say I was a pastor. I'm also a pastor, licensed and ordained pastor.
Yes.
One may ask, how do you do all these things? And I just say, one day at a time, by appointment only.
By appointment only.
And as a naturopathic doctor, I treat the mind, body, and spirit. So I like to say that I am licensed, degreed, certified, and ordained in the things of mind, body, and spirit. And so it's interesting that today is World AIDS Day. I know we're pre-recording, but it can't be without mention that today is World AIDS Day. And on this day, December 1st, 1990, I was marrying whom I thought was my Prince Charming. And it turned out he was marrying me, even though he knew that he had full-blown AIDS. He did not tell. And I did not find out or make the discovery for 2 years in that marriage. And I would have to say hallelujah to the Lamb that I am not positive. I am not positive. I was not affected or infected in any way. So I wrote a book about it. Want to see it? Here we go.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yes. Faith under fire. Faith under fire.
Betrayed by a thing called love. And this is full accounting of what I did to how I got myself into that mess, because I take full responsibility for getting myself into that situation. Or you got to read it, because it is, I have a really interesting take on how it all occurred and what all of the things that I said yes to, Daryl.
Right.
I did not have to say yes to so much mess, and I did.
Right.
So I want to issue a warning for you to back off of your girls when they're doing positive things, and just because they don't have a boyfriend or don't have a man or that they're not engaged, leave them alone. Placing them under that kind of pressure, they can make strange choices or choices that are not, that do not benefit them in the long run. So that happened to me.
Wow. Wow. Faith Under Fire. And you can find that on Amazon.
Yes, you can.
Find it on Amazon. When you went through that process, dating someone or marrying someone that had full-blown AIDS, how did you go through the healing process of not breaking yourself down? Or like you said, you took full blame for everything that you went through. A lot of us would have really hid underneath a rock. We would have never talked about it because people would have shamed us or talked about us, not even believed us, to say, oh, there's no way that you can't be positive.
That's right.
How did you, as Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, say, you know what, I have to speak about this and I have to share this with the world?
I have to shift the language just a little bit, and instead of using the word take full blame, I want to state that I took full responsibility.
Full responsibility.
No one is to blame, but we are responsible for ourselves. And I'll just go ahead and tell you what it is. The day that I met him, the day before, I had planned to take a sick day. So I cleaned off. I was a producer and a coordinator for the Sheridan Broadcasting Networks. That's now American Urban Radio. And we used to write a weekly show. And that day before, I was sitting at my desk and I said, I'm going to take the day off tomorrow. You know, and I'm going to call in sick. I've got sick days.
Right.
And I was a part-time speech teacher at a broadcasting school. And so the next day after work, I would have gone to work full day and then gone to my part-time job where I taught speech. Well, so I cleaned off my desk, returned all my phone calls and said, I'm calling in sick tomorrow. Woke myself up, called in sick, and I just kind of slept late, washed my hair, got real cute and went to class. Now, if I would have gone to work, I would have, you know how you drag into your second job.
Right.
Okay. Right. Your second job. I would have had a ponytail, but my hair was bouncing with curls and I had on leather pants and a red silk blouse. I'll never forget. And I fell right into the hand of the enemy.
Wow.
I fell right into the hand of the enemy. So I think that people have to stop saying things like, I just fell into sin. It's a lie.
Yes.
You plan it and you know it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Think of all of the time that you ended up doing something you had no business that was obviously sin. You planned it. Stop it. Don't fall into a thing.
Right.
So I just want to say that. So that is the responsibility that I had to face when I looked into the mirror. And it made it easier for me to be able to tell this tale. And firstly, I held on to God's hand and I had to forgive myself.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I had to, and I did.
Wow. Go ahead.
And I have to tell you, I did go to grief counseling.
Okay.
Let me tell you, you need, in times of trouble, you need Jesus and the counselor.
Yes.
Okay. I'm telling you, and I went to group grief counseling.
Yes.
It's something about being in a group where your thing is not as bad as you thought it was.
Right.
It's crazy to say, but it's something very healing about knowing and hearing other people's stories and like, oh, I'm not the only one. And so all these years later, because he died in 1995. And so all these years later, I see some of those people in the group, because it's in my community, we fall into each other's arms in the streets.
Wow.
Because we had a shared loss.
A shared loss. Wow.
Experience of loss and shared that together in terms of the healing. So I have, a group of friends that will forever be my family, that we help one another recover from our loss.
Ladies and gentlemen, December 1st, World AIDS Day. And this is the one thing that we have to do as people, Black people, white people, everyone, that we have to educate ourselves.
Yes.
And, there's a lot of people living HIV positive that are living full lives. Yes. There's a lot of people out there. Again, know the person that you are dating and know the person that you're getting married to, because the fact that everybody's not going to tell you everything.
Sure enough.
So you have to do your homework. You have to do your job. You educate yourself. The one thing is to love yourself enough that you don't fall into it. And I love, like Dr. Brookshire said, stop saying that, I fell into it, or that, I got trapped in by the enemy. And the devil is busy. A lot of times you got to open up your eyes and know it ain't the devil, it's you.
Okay.
It's you.
That's okay. Well, the word says that the heart is desperately wicked. Who can know it?
Right.
The heart is desperately wicked. So the heart is, man is wicked, period. And if it weren't for Jesus, we would still be, who knows where we'd be. Right. But to your point about know the one you're with, in the back of the book, I have 200 questions. Remember how we used to play 20 questions?
Right.
Remember how you used to bring around the person that you like to your family and friends and let them check them out and let them ask questions that they can go over off in the corner. Come here, let me talk to you. Come here, sit down. Right. Yeah, right. Remember?
Right.
We need to get back to that.
Yes. Because, and like you said, remember the times that we would say, hey, listen, call your cousin Junebug and see what they know about so-and-so. And you get on that phone, and sure enough, oh yeah, let me tell you about him or her. They
Yes.
knew. We don't do that anymore.
And that's problematic. So we
Yes.
need to go back to asking questions. And I always like to say, before you swap spit, swap information. So before you kiss a person, swap information. You
Right.
should, your first date should be to get a rapid HIV test and then go.
Wow. Wow.
Okay. So before you do not swap past spit, body fluid, because spit is body fluid. And I've been chastised for saying that, oh, no one has ever caught HIV from kissing. How do you know?
How do you know? Right.
How do you know? But I know this, that the person that we are speaking of, who I wrote in this book, that when he brushed his teeth, he bled. And the day I discovered that he had HIV, I didn't kiss him anymore like that.
Wow.
Okay, my choice. Okay, but we have to take every precaution. Like at this point, my job, my full-time job, was to stay negative. Right. I'd already slung the dice for 3 years, a year of dating and 2 years of marriage. Okay, the rest of our time together was going to be done safely.
Right. I say this, Dr. Brookshire, that in these times that we are in right now, we want to bump fists. We want to elbow each other, hug, air hug, but we don't want to swap information.
That's it.
That's it. We're so afraid to sneeze in front of each other and cough in front of each other. And yes, let's be healthy. And if you're going to do all that, swap information. Be healthy all the way around. Don't let that one little moment take you off of your guard.
Yes. Yes. And I don't care how fine he is. That was my situation. Ooh, he's so fine. Ooh, his car so nice. All of those. This is a responsibility. But like I'm saying, take responsibility and keep your head level. And especially in these times where we've been quarantined. And one of the things that I'm very disappointed with these days is that no one is talking about how the certain virus that's swirling around is communicable in terms of sexually transmissible. Okay, but so if you have not presented, the same thing with HIV, before you swap spit, swap information. They've got the rapid test now that you could rapid test yourself for COVID.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can buy both of them at the drugstore. Buy one of each.
Right.
One of each.
Right. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got to take a quick break. This is just a little information on World AIDS Day. Please, again, if you need information, we'll have 1-800 numbers and things like that for you to look up for research. But we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. I am here with Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire. We'll be right back.
AIDS. It's not over. More than 1 million Americans are living with HIV, and 1 in 5 of them don't even know they're infected. So please get tested. And if you're HIV positive, get treated. Support the research. It's our only hope in finding a cure. Let's end AIDS together. Go to amfar.org to learn more.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back again. I am here with my special guest, Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire is here with me on Talking with 3D. When we're just here, again, I'm just tongue-tied right now. I can't even get it out. But listen, can you explain to us naturopathy, that the audience understands what that means as a doctor, as yourself? What does that mean to us?
Naturopathy is the science of treating a person, treating a body with everything that's in nature using no medicine. That is what it is. When Thomas Edison said, the doctor of the future will use no medicine, but instead will use everything in nature for its cure. I am one of those doctors of the future.
You are one of those doctors of the future. So this is what and we're not taking away from anything about your health. of what the doctors told you. You have to do what's better, what is best, what you think is best for your health. But I'm the type of person where I have to Google everything. And I Google what they may have prescribed, anything like that. And I always get doctors telling me, stop Googling. Stop Googling. Do not Google because, just let me take care of you. I want to Google because of the fact that I want to look for natural remedies that I could do for myself, for my body. I have a son who's on the autism spectrum. He also has a seizure disorder. So, therefore, I'm always looking for natural things that I can do for my son. He's now 21, but I still want to do things for him. I adopted my son. So there wasn't a lot of background history that I was privy to really help him in situations. So of course I had to go through a neurologist to put him on different type of medications to balance him out, to help him out. And I've learned to start taking him off a lot of things. And I'm trying to learn about, more natural remedies to help him. Why are we so afraid? I think that a lot of times we are so afraid of natural remedies because, one person says this about it, one person says this about it. This was just something grandma said, so why are we so afraid of that?
Well, let's talk about what was in grandma's hand. Grandma would open up that back door, snatch something off a tree, snatch something out of the ground, put it in a pot of water, boil it up, make you drink it like the Dickens.
Yes.
You pooped your brains out, you peed your brains out, you slept all day. When you woke up, guess what? You felt better.
Yes.
Now, people say that we've really advanced since that time frame. I agree. But what in the world are we doing changing what works? And I think I love medical doctors. I do, because I don't think that anyone who's a doctor who treats sick people is in it for if they have a bad heart. So I think that all of them are good-natured and want to genuinely see people get well. You got to love that.
Right.
I love that.
Right.
So thereby, I am not downplaying what they know, and they should not downplay what I know.
What you know, right.
And so I say that if we marry the two, we could help the multitudes.
Right.
I do say that Western medicine is great for urgent care medicine.
Okay.
And please, if I have a gaping wound or if I have something broken, if you come at me with something other than an emergency room ride, I'm coming for you when I come out of this, okay?
Right.
Take me to an emergency room, because they are experts in sewing things back together and they working again.
Right. Okay.
I have nothing in my toolbox for that.
Okay. Gotcha.
And I know how to hold them. I know how to fold them and say, this is where you need to go. And they're excellent also at diagnostic.
Okay.
Diagnostics. Gotcha. They can order lab work that I don't have access to. Gotcha. I can read blood work. I can tell you what blood work to look for. But a naturopathic doctor is also a health investigator. Right?
Health investigator.
A health investigator. I am constantly looking for the why. I'm looking for the root cause. I don't want to just put a Band-Aid over your bullet hole. I don't want to put a Band-Aid on the fact that you get a headache every day at 3:00 and you just blow that off. I need to find out whether or not you're pooping every day, whether or not that could attribute to your getting a headache every day. I need to know that. How many doctors have asked you how many times a day you poop?
Right.
These are questions that build a story. And
ask you how many times you do go and what it looks like.
Oh, look, I can show you one of my intake forms right here on my desk. Okay. The intake form says, how often do you poop? Once, times, 4 times, 5 times a day. A healthy body, by the way, is 3 to 5 times, just so you know.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And does it sink or float? Does it break apart when you flush it? What color is it? Light brown, dark brown, baby poop in color?
Right.
How many times do you wipe to be clean? All of that builds a story, and no medical doctor is asking those questions at all, not even a gastroenterologist.
Now, I want to know how many people are not wiping to be clean. That's another story. That's another show right there. Do not
I can't with
to be
you.
clean.
I can't with you.
We gotta talk about some baby wipes or something because you got to wipe to be clean. But go on, Dr. Brookshire.
Yes. So I think back to your question that people may be just afraid of the unknown.
Mm,
And there are a lot of people who simply believe what the white coat has to say
yes.
and
yes.
nothing else. That's it. That's all. And I say to you, if this is your belief, then go with it. Because I promise you, until you changed your mindset, and the name of my company, my corporation is Renewing Your Mind Foundation, until you renew your mind, even if you come to a naturopathic doctor like me, if you're closed about it, it'll never work for you.
It'll never work.
You gotta want to, mind, body, and spirit.
Mind, body, and spirit. I also watched a show that you talked about. You also need to know the color of your urine. If it's the color of it, does it, does it foam? All of that. And those are some of the things that when I saw that, I started paying attention to the color of my urine.
Do you know how many people do not have the answer to that question?
Wow.
Have no idea. They flush that toilet and never look to see what the color of their urine is. And I'm telling you, paying attention to the color of your urine is the single best self-diagnostic we possess.
Wow. Wow. I'm telling you, when I watched you on that show, I was like going, it's something I never paid attention to. And then now all of a sudden, I'm just like going, okay, what color is it? Oh, did it foam? Did it do this? Do it do that? But it's so funny because yes, and especially men, because a lot of times we use a urinal that you don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's why a lot of times that we going through gallstones and all this stuff because of that. We don't pay attention to it.
In addition to the fact that for a man, the last line of defense is any kind of doctor. Let's get that straight.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, we got to take another quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more about natural remedies. I got some questions I want to ask you about some of the natural vitamins and the difference really between natural and vitamins, because I think there is a difference. I think people need to understand that as well. So we'll be right back talking with 3D. I'm here with Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire.
Doctor, come quick, my grandmother. What's happening? What's happening? Who is it? I think she passed out. That's Miss Jenkins from the Hopkins Project. Look, I think she'll be all right. Let's get her to the hospital. Come on.
Oh, woo, we almost lost Miss Jenkins, honey. That was a close shave. Whew. And speaking of close shaves, she could use one. That woman's got so much facial hair, she looks like Chewbacca with a weave. But I ain't want to gossip, so you ain't heard that from me.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Dr. Brookshire, we are here talking with 3D. We're real talk. It's for real people. I want to really talk a little bit because of the fact that the coronavirus has been with us for the last 2 years. Actually, it's been here for decades, but people don't want to really, come to grips that this virus has been around for centuries. It's now just manifested to where we have paid attention to it. I don't want to put blame on anybody because I can't answer for that. All I know is that, we have to take care of ourselves and we have to take care of our bodies. And, you hear one thing to do this, you hear another thing to do this. I remember there was a time where, it was to drink boiled water and put lemon in it, and lots of honey. So there was all type of natural remedies. So, I would like to know what's the difference between natural remedies and supplements, and to build up our immune systems especially in these times. I think that we all should always, try to build up our immune systems regardless.
Absolutely.
What is something that we can do right now to build up our immune system living in these times that we are in now today?
I would say one of the major things that you can do, and it's not just one thing, but if I had to choose one thing that you could do to build your immune system, I would say sleep.
Sleep.
Sleep,
Wow.
and not just any old, whenever you feel like falling asleep. I'm talking about go to bed by 10 o'clock so that you can snatch the healing that is available from the circadian clock, because we have a circadian rhythm. And there's a clock that's already set up. It's so interesting because, as you said, I'm a speech professor, and one of my students did a speech the other day on the circadian clock for children and say that their rhythm, that teenagers today, their rhythm is changed because the clock is different for them, and that's why school should start at between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. And I ought to give you an F, is what I ought to do. That's research.
Do your research.
Right, but actually, if we went to bed at 10 o'clock and got up 7-8 hours later, we'd be more refreshed because we then would be benefactors of the healing of the moon.
Oh.
And that is because the moon restores and heals, and the sun gives us energy.
Wow.
And so going to bed at who knows what time, whatever reason, and then on devices as you go to bed, and all of these things that disrupt sleep, you're really not sleeping. So quality sleep, I would say, and your body really only heals when you're sleeping.
It only heals while you're sleeping.
Only heals while you're sleeping.
And is that when your body is replenishing a lot of things that went on throughout the day?
No, the body is replenishing because that is the time it is to be replenished, because of the healing cycles of the night with the moon, the cycles of the moon. Every hour is a different healing cycle. Every hour of the day too, something is happening in the body. Every hour of the night, something is happening. If you are awake, for instance, may I ask whether or not you have high blood pressure?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you how I know that. We'll talk later. But okay, now, and also I will say that the face tells a story.
Okay.
Everyone's face tells a story, and it's sometimes very difficult for me to look in people's faces. The body leaves clues, just like success.
Wow.
It leaves clues. And so if you know what to look for, I need to ask you that question. What time do you go to bed? At 10 o'clock or later?
I do go to bed later.
Consistently?
Consistently, yes.
Okay. And if you consistently miss the healing cycle at midnight of the endocrine system, it will manifest itself as high blood pressure. That's the first thing. And then the endocrine system also governs weight and diabetes and other thyroid. So it's vitally important to go to sleep at 10 o'clock so that the body then could snatch the healing for the endocrine system. And if you miss it, you can't catch up. There's no I'm catching up on sleep this weekend. No, you're not. No, you're not. There's no such thing. When you missed it, you missed it. Sure, we all keep a late night here or there, but consistently don't do it. And this is the reason why they call it the graveyard shift.
Okay.
Because it's counterintuitive to the body to stay awake all night. And this is why they pay a night differential. But more than that, they call it the graveyard shift because it leads to an early grave. Can I get back to something that you asked?
Yes,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So when you said for the coronavirus, the one thing that we can always say sleep, and then the next thing, this is my gangster water, okay? I drink this amount of water with every meal and in between meals. So I drink more than my quotient for my weight, half your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 100 ounces, half of that is how much water you should have per day. Additionally, when you mentioned that the coronavirus has been here for centuries, you are absolutely 100% correct. The common cold was once a scourge like COVID is in this world, on this. Hundreds of years ago, the common cold was, and the common cold is a coronavirus.
The virus. Wow.
And it moved and every year it went away and came back, and it was
Mhm.
less and less lethal. And then it went from pandemic to endemic. And this is what I believe is going to happen with COVID as well. It is going to be another type of coronavirus that will move from pandemic to endemic, meaning it will live amongst us.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm. Whew, I'm telling you, if y'all don't have your pen and paper out, because y'all got to take
So
these
get your
notes.
Dr. notebook.
You know, I was talking to you earlier about my son having a seizure disorder, and it would always, you know, I belong to this group on Facebook, and we, you know, always talk about, you know, our children or things that work for ourselves and things that don't. But they would always talk about when there was a full moon. When there's a full moon, be aware, because that's when a lot of the seizures of their children would have seizures. So I was like going, and I would try to watch it, but then I didn't know if it was self-conscious that I was looking for it. And I thought if I put it out in the atmosphere, I'm making it happen, because now I'm looking for that seizure to happen when it's the full moon. Now that when I hear that, you know, I can now think of it as that the healing process should be during that time. And now I've got this epiphany that, wow, when it's a full moon, to me, that's full healing.
Yes.
So that's what I'm just taking from what you're talking about, and what I'm hearing is that that should be the full healing moment.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%. Ask if your son has petit mal or grand mal seizures.
And he has them all.
He has them all.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And we can talk further off mic about what to do specifically. My mother has seizure disorder, and she has the silent ones. And hers is triggered by caffeine, lack of sleep. And I discovered recently, before I brought her home with me, that she was over-medicated.
Wow. Wow.
So I've had to make some adjustments, and I also give her some wonderful supplementation to help bring her back around, and she has been responding quite beautifully to the regimen. And I'm going to keep it up, and I'm actually just taking her incrementally so that I don't overload her system nor shock her. But she is still medicated for the seizures because it's a serious disorder. But also a ketogenic diet helps tremendously. And
I just started that for him.
Good. Have you seen the movie? This is an old movie, Meryl Streep. She got a Farrah Fawcett flip and everything. This is how old the movie. It's called First Do No Harm. And it is a true story of a woman who took matters into her own hands to help heal her son who had very violent seizures. And she wanted him to be in a program in Johns Hopkins Hospital. And Meryl Streep played the mother character of it, but it is a brilliant educational, and they show him actually weighing the food for the ketogenic diet. It's very specific for the person with seizures, and that is worth a shot because it's a chemical imbalance.
Right.
Which is why coffee disturbs my mother.
Wow. I even heard you speak about, drinking lots of water and making sure that water is in your diet. And we get up and we drink that 1 cup of coffee. But now tell me how you said it. You said that, but then it takes almost how many gallons to wash away that 1 cup of coffee?
Right. I did an experiment, and I think this is what you're talking about. I took 1 ounce of coffee in a shot glass and put 64 ounces of water on top of 1 ounce of coffee, and the water still looked like tea.
Wow.
And so if you're talking about drinking your cafe mocha frucha choca latte grande tolle, whatever it is,
that costs $15.99.
Okay. That ought to make you quit like smoking all by itself. But if you are talking about drinking that, whatever size coffee you drink, you need quadruple 32 cups of that and more to make your body look like it never had it. And that is a very high exchange.
Wow. I'm telling you, Dr. Brookshire, ever since I have been watching your videos and listening to you, like I drank a cup of coffee the other day and I thought, oh, I got to drink about.
I don't mean to food shame people. I'm sorry. I don't mean to food shame people.
No, hey, listen, I'm trying to live too. I want to see, I have 3 boys. I adopted them, and I was old when I adopted them, and my youngest is 8. I'm 55 years old. I want to see my children's children. So I got to take care of myself. I can't leave here and leave my babies behind.
That's the way I feel. Because we didn't have our baby until I was 40.
Hey.
She's 19.
Yeah. And I see all my friends that I grew up with, their grandchildren, and their grandchildren are like almost 21. I'm like, oh, I'm okay. Well, I just started. My kid is 8 years old.
I just started. Yes, because all of my high school buddies, their grandchildren now, and their children are in college, getting out, graduated, and mine's just in college.
Right. Well,
I was busy.
Mine's in 3rd grade. So listen, we gotta take another quick break, and I want to talk to you about detoxing and the proper way to detox and how we do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're here with Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, right here on Talking with 3D.
A natural disaster may force you to evacuate, and the coronavirus could impact your emergency plans. So take steps now to help your family and community prepare. Keep a supply kit stocked with cloth face coverings, disinfecting supplies, and hand sanitizers. Check with local officials about what shelter spaces will be open during quarantine efforts. And remember to review the CDC's guidelines with the whole family. Disasters won't wait. Neither should you. Visit ready.gov/plan to make a plan today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Thank you for coming back and listening. Again, I hope you have your pen and paper out. You've got to make sure that you're taking these notes. And again, let me tell you something. You have to make sure that you are listening to medical advice, doing what your doctor tells you to do for your body, for yourself, for your family. Do what is necessary. But like I do, I'm a person that I have to research and find out what I'm putting in my body and the effects that it has on my body. So I think that you have to make sure that you're doing it for yourself.
And may I say something? You have to have your annual checkups and your annual blood work.
Yes. Dr. Brookshire, I'm going to tell you something that I really want to say this as well, because I think a lot of times as Black men, Black women, we never get our vitamin D checked. And
you have to ask.
You have to ask. They will not check it unless you ask. So when you go to get your blood work, ask them to check your vitamin D. Because we are so deficient in our vitamin D. And I never knew that was such a big part of making sure that, that the vitamin D was, if you were deficient in vitamin D, so many things were happening in our bodies.
Yes. This is actually, and also if you could please ask to get your C-reactive protein level checked. The letter C dash reactive protein level. This is the marker which measures inflammation. It measures inflammation in the body.
I'm writing this down.
Okay. And that number should be less than 1, but certainly less than 3.
Less than 1.
Now, here I want to make this comment since you brought up vitamin D. And the reason why we should know the number and the reason why we should know the CRP number, C-reactive protein number, is because with the virus, the people who had low vitamin D and high inflammation, they're the people at the time they contracted the virus, those are the people who died. People who had high vitamin D and low CRP numbers, those are the people who lived.
Wow.
Okay, so it's vitally important. We did a study on that, and that was proven. And the vitamin D is very hard for us to attain because we're doing things like sitting under artificial light.
Right, right.
You know how hard it is to find a regular light bulb? 1000bulbs.com, by the way, 1000bulbs.com. They still have regular light bulbs. Get that mess out of your house. How is it that an entire society in America is vitamin D deficient? Why? Because squiggly light bulbs, I'm about to get at this on a show. I'm about next week, actually, I'm doing a show. And it is because, I mean, I don't want anything in my home that has a skull and bones on it.
Right.
And I don't want anything in my home that tells me if you break it, evacuate. And this is how you clean it up. What?
Right. Right.
You're out of here.
Yeah. You got to call a team in because you had a light bulb that broke. Now you got to call a special team to come and get that. Everyone evacuate, get out your house. Call 911. It's a light bulb.
And sweep it up onto cardboard and put it in a plastic bag. Get out of here.
Yeah.
We fell for that?
Right.
And that's just plain. But listen, I think that as a society, they're going to make an attempt to get us to do all kinds of things in the names of convenience.
Wow.
Okay, because these other light bulbs last years and years and years. You don't have to change them.
Right. And Dr. Brookshire, what happened to the light bulbs? Remember the light bulbs that special light bulbs you could get that would make your plants grow beautiful and vibrant?
Oh, the halogen lights.
Yes.
They still have those.
Oh, they still have those.
Yes.
Okay.
That's because that's how they grow hydroponically also, with the halogen lights. Yes.
Okay.
So this is why we're a nation that's vitamin D deficient, because fluorescent lights and LED lights are everywhere in public. We can't get away from it. But the last place you need that is in your home. Get that out of your house.
Wow.
But the danger of it is that fluorescent lights leach the vitamin from the body. Okay.
Wow.
You have to go outside, and people don't want to go outside.
Yeah.
We're doing
they don't want to go outside. Yeah. Everything, and especially because if you got this and you got this right here, I don't have to go anywhere.
I had to make my daughter go outside every day, quarantine, and walk the dog.
Yeah.
Make her.
Get outside. Yeah.
And she'd go, it's still into the light, just in time before the sun went down. You're fooling yourself. Guess what? Her vitamin D was 15.
That's right. Wow.
That's dangerously low.
Yeah. Yeah. My kids lived outside during when we were quarantined. I got a big backyard. They stayed outside. We don't have to go anywhere, but go outside.
That's right.
Go outside and enjoy. We're not going to stop living. I don't care if it's inside the fence, but we're gonna enjoy it.
That's good.
Listen, I want to talk a little bit about detoxing, but I want to ask you real quick before we run out of time, and just throw some names out here, because these are some things that a lot of people were using during the coronavirus. Sea moss.
I love sea moss. It's a very good tonic.
Okay.
Overall health for the body. I would not use it if I were in crisis.
Okay.
I think that it's good for maintenance.
Maintenance. Okay. Black seed oil.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Okay. I think that black seed oil is good. I'm not really into this for that nutrition. Yes. I'm into whole body nutrition.
Whole body.
I only use this for that, for things that are specific.
Okay. That's good. I like that. Turmeric.
I'm sorry?
Is it turmeric?
Turmeric?
Turmeric. I'm sorry. Turmeric and ginger.
Turmeric is an amazing inflammation fighter. It is awesome. If you find out that your C-reactive protein number is high, grab some turmeric. It'll help lower the inflammation.
Turmeric. And last one, black elderberry.
Elderberry, you know, elderberry is really, really good tonic and astringent. Here's the thing though, people who are 18 and under should not take elderberry. It's not for children.
Okay.
And if you have an inflammatory disease or an autoimmune disease, or if you are pregnant or lactating, you should not take elderberry. So elderberry is one of those things that is not good for everyone. And I know a lot of people give it to their children, and there are products with elderberry in it, elderberry cough syrup for children specifically. That's a no-no.
Yes. That's a no-no. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Peronia, the purple berries do have it though. Peronia is a very powerful purple berry, as well as acai.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
So detoxing, what is detoxing and what is it used for? And I mean, I understand detoxing, but I think there's a lot of people that have that question. Why detox?
Detoxing is important because it helps to reset the body. It gives you an opportunity to put a pause, to give the body rest.
Okay.
And then so you can pick up and move on. So right now, after Thanksgiving, before we go into the Christmas season and the rest of the holy days and the rest of the holy season, that I think we should absolutely take a pause. Now is a good time to start a detox regimen, and certainly at the top of the year.
Detoxing. So, and that could be anything from just really detoxing with water. Do you have to take a detox supplement? Or detoxing, what is the best way for us to detox?
You know, each individual is different, but I like to take one body part at a time, unless, and I don't mean to be flip when I say this, but literally, unless you're dying and running out of time, I do not detox the whole body, the whole person all at once. Because it can throw you into something called a healing crisis, which just means you feel worse or you feel better.
Yes.
And then you throw out the whole thing and say bad words about me and never and swear off your wellness journey. I don't want that to happen. So I slow walk you. I generally put people on a 90-day plan. And on the 90-day plan, we every 30 to 40 days, we get back together. I give you the next steps and we take it from there. And it's a gradual detox, but also it is in an effort to instill a lifestyle change. And that's what that is the purpose. It's to give the body a new start so there can be a new you.
Wow. Love it, love it, love it. Listen, I know we've been talking about, natural healing and remedies. I do have to ask you this because I know that you were big in the music business and worked with publicists for Biggie Smalls. What got you out of the music industry, working with Biggie Smalls, as God rest his soul, when he was alive? What got you out of that?
Why did I leave?
Why did you leave?
Well, you know, when bullets start flying on your watch, you start.
Say no more.
Okay. I was like, is this in the job description? I don't remember reading that. Okay. Right. And I was actually in the car with Biggie the night, the week leading up to the day he was killed. I happened to follow the inkling of an unction that I had from God that was that had me leave. And I left LA 2 days ahead of schedule because I felt uneasy. And I was contacted in the middle of the night that he had been killed. And when I saw that car shot up, where I had been sitting in that back seat, riding around,
yes,
I went into a cold shake and I said, Lord, you keep saving me.
Oh my gosh.
Keep saving me. So it was actually in the works, and I had taken off a couple of days because I was really not doing well. And then when I went back to work, a friend of mine, my fairy godmother in the industry, told me that you need a counselor. You've been traumatized. I'm thinking, no joke, Sherlock. Yeah, I've been traumatized.
Right.
And she kept calling until I called Human Resources and stated that. And Human Resources sent in a counselor to my office right away. And the woman was sitting there telling me how I should feel. Was the worst counseling session I've ever had in my whole entire life, by the way. And telling me how I should feel. And my assistant knocked on the door and said, "It's Marie Brown." Marie Brown was my literary agent. And my literary agent called me when I was being counseled about Biggie and said, "I gave HarperCollins your book and they love it, but they have an assignment. They want you to write soul food."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I use that opportunity to say, "See y'all."
I'm out of here. Goodbye, good riddance.
I'm out.
Dr. Brookshire, how can everybody find you? Where can we follow you and be inspired by you every single day?
Oh, first my team, I know my team is cringing right now because like, I told you to post every day. I just can't, y'all. I really do take care of people who are sick and dying. I don't have time for all of that. Okay,
Yes.
But you can find me. And when I post, I post. You can follow me on Twitter at Ask the Good Doc, on Instagram and Facebook at Ask the Good Doctor. And you can go to my YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel. Every week I'm live on Wednesdays at 1:00. And you can just, right now there are about 210 videos on YouTube. You can just get a Good Doctor notebook, grab one and learn and take copious notes. Yes.
I'm telling you, you have to. Please go to YouTube and look up Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire. I start watching the videos, and this is a lot of the conversation that we're having is by me watching the videos. You will learn so much. I'm telling you that you learn so much about yourself, about how to care for yourself, how to love yourself, and that's the first and the most important thing is that if you love yourself, you start treating yourself better.
Come on.
So I thank God for the fact that you have opened up your advice and your knowledge and your ministry to us because of the fact that now we can do natural healing.
Amen.
I appreciate that. I just want to thank you, Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, for coming on. You guys, again, go out and get Faith Under Fire. While you're there, order Kitchen Warriors 1-on-1. Ask the Good Doctor, the Detox Edition, Soul Food, Web of Deception. Faith Under Fire is available right now on Amazon. Please go there, get the book, read. I'm telling you, the story is just amazing, and you'll be moved and inspired by it. Dr. Joyce, thank you so much again. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
The timing, it threw us off, but the timing was right.
Yes.
The timing was right. And I needed this tonight, and I'm so inspired, and I hope that people out there are so inspired. So may God bless you and continue your ministry to flourish and to grow. And I will always be a fan of Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. And I'd like to offer you and your audience a discount of $50 off of a phone consultation with me. If you'd like, just send an email to Dr. Brookshire, Brookshire @outlook.com. Say that you were here and watch this show with Triple D, and I will extend a discount to you.
You better do it. I'm going to do it. So I'm telling you right now, we'll have the information up there for you. Please make sure that you do it. Dr. Brookshire, thank you. We'll have to have you'll have to come back again, and we'll just have to continue this on. You're going to be my residential guru on here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I love you. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in and talking with 3D, where real talk is for real people. We'll see you again next week right here on Plushwork TV. Have a good night.